Where no subject is too taboo to discuss. Now, please welcome your hosts, Andy Barker and Drew Del Pree.
Woo-hoo! We are back.
I know. Hey, I'm not mute.
Whoa!
Should be.
Holy, hold on. Oh, okay, I'm over it.
Should be.
Dude, what's going on?
Nothing much, man. Long time no see. Busy news cycle.
Yeah. Should we just jump right into that, or
we can go into the rap, my friend, if you'd like. It's story number one.
Let's do it. I'm not hitting the music because I'm lazy.
No worries, man. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Well, let's look at the rap, right? Of course, number one news cycle, and you can't get around it, right? But Charlie Kirk was assassinated during the campus event in Utah. Clear attack on free speech. You can check the internet and read all the stories you want, and you can even see it. And it is relatively graphic. I'd recommend, don't watch it if that's not how you want to remember him. But if you want to see a catastrophic assassination, that is it. And that's the first story to kick off the news cycle. But MSNBC apologizes for analyst remarks on Kirk's shooting. If you remember that, Dowd piped off that Kirk was controversial and had made controversial remarks. And when you do that, you have to anticipate there's going to be some kind of pushback. He was fired for that that evening on MSNBC. Good to see them stand up and do that. Spinal Tap returns with the star-studded sequel. I don't know if you saw that, but Spinal Tap's going to be running a second movie, right, to get on a little bit of a lighter side to help try to get back to normal after the assassination. But Spinal Tap II, the end continues. The film is going to feature the original cast members alongside Paul McCartney and Elton John. I'll tell you what, man, when I saw Elton John was going to be in there, I thought, oh, it's just a hologram, right? But I mean, I guess he could still walk, man. Good for him, because he's up there. Gucci and Beyoncé lead celebrity fashion collabs, right? So Gucci's tapped Miley Cyrus for its new fragrance campaign, while Levi's partnered with Beyoncé on the Denim Cowboy capsule. These collaborations highlight how fashion has continued to leverage pop icons to drive culture relevance and brand aspiration.
So I have a question.
Way to swap out the white Sydney Sweeney for Beyonce on Levi's. We can't.
Miley Cyrus perfume. What does that smell like? Does that smell like fucking redneck truck stop
barn
toilet water?
Barn. It smells like barn. And the last story we have for this week in the wrap is Nintendo's September Direct revealed a wave of new titles for the Switch 2, including Metroid Prime and Super Mario Galaxy. I'm going to tell you right now, when I was a drinker, the greatest thing I used to do was drunk drive Mario Kart. I used to love that. And I'll tell you what, man, I do have a Switch 2 because I am a gamer. And I do play the new Mario Kart World. And there's no way I could drunk drive that, man. I'd be having nightmares. But anyway, it's probably a hell of a good time. I would encourage it. But that's the wrap, Andy. That's all we got. There's your news for the week to wrap it up. I mean, Charlie Kirk assassinated. That was terrible.
Yeah, initially I thought I wanted to talk about it. I'm not so sure I want to talk about it.
Everyone has,
Yeah, at this point,
I
definitely.
Go ahead. I was gonna say I'll share the one take I had. I was telling you, we talked a little bit about it before the show, which is kind of why it's hard to continue talking about that, especially when you've been around death of friends, and you get that same kind of feeling. You're like, man, I didn't even really know this guy, but it kind of hits like we were side by side in the trenches. But one of the takes I heard was from a guy I listened to, Steve Dace, very heavy on the theology in the show. So if that's not your flavor, you're not going to like it. I'm not as intense as he is, I can tell you. But I can see. I like the analysis. I really like the show. I really like the analysis. I like the other guys on it. But his take that next day was, every pastor in America should wake up ashamed that a 31-year-old man with 2 children took the bullet meant for them because they won't preach the truth, attendance or something. And I thought, that is powerful, man.
It's very powerful.
And he went on to say, how many of our churches fly the rainbow flags and do all these things because, the collection plate's low. Got to spread the message, or it's a big tent, Steve. Republican Party's a big tent.
Yes, sir.
But I thought that was powerful, man. That was powerful. Our churches, many pastors in our churches have failed us and are continuing to fail us, because attendance is low or something.
I tell you, I will talk a little bit about just the shooting itself. The first, I guess, scene or clip that I saw was of the far away. And when I saw him, I was like, "Oh man, that's not good." I said, but I thought, you know what? We we've seen worse that have recovered. Uh, so I was like, okay, there's might be a chance here, maybe. But then I saw the other angle, the up close angle. I seen that look before, man. He was gone.
Oh
It,
yeah.
it was just like, wow.
They probably didn't say anything while they notified his wife and, you know, secured the area. It's probably why they held off announcing he was dead. But yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
I'm sure.
if you had seen that one angle, that front angle, you knew immediately.
Yeah.
You know, the one thing I was saying, we were talking about earlier too, is, you know, the sad fact is, you know, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, you know, right? Like, you know, we agree, right? We were all much older by the time we saw our first like death, like no kidding. You know, now people witness tragedy all the time. Don't get me wrong, but the majority of people don't see, you know, death like that, like
Right.
violent death.
Right. Traumatic.
Yeah, traumatic death, right? Like a death brought on by violence, whether it's a gunshot, crash, car crash. You know, those can be brutally. The plane crashes, right? 9/11 plane crashes, things like that. People, you know, you don't see stuff like that till you're much older, and we hadn't seen things like that until Faces of Death had come out. You know, in our generation, right?
Right.
And so I was probably 17 when that came out, 17, 18. And then after Faces of Death, there was another one. Remember, there was another one that used to come out. And that one used to come out like almost annually. And it was like people who like died on film somehow, right? Like, but it was no.
I don't remember. I just remember the Faces of Death.
I remember Faces of Death was crazy, man. If you guys don't remember that, like they had like a javelin. Like, remember the guy got hit with the javelin? Like they were practicing. Like high school was practicing, and like one of the high schoolers threw a javelin, and it like caught this track runner. Like, I mean, it was. Like they had death.
That dude got the point. That dude got the point.
Yeah, right.
Immediately.
Right. They had death, man. They had death. Like Faces of Death was the first time. Like I don't want to say people had seen it. What I guess what I want to say is it was mass spread.
The first time, yeah, that you were exposed to anything like that,
and it was mass spread. Like we all could talk about it. Like
VHS, baby.
Do you remember that? Do you remember that? Right. And so we'd all seen it, right? But again, 17, 18.
Yeah.
My 12-year-old could see Charlie Kirk get shot.
Yeah.
Okay. And what I was telling Andy was, you know, the sad fact is probably some asshole is going to show his kids well before they're able to process that. Just to
Charlie's
be mean.
kids. Yeah.
Just to be right. Just to be mean. And that's sad. You know, that's sad that, you know, technology brings us so much good, but, you know, there's always the potential for evil.
Oh yeah, you can't have one without the other.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't, unfortunately. Right. But I just, as a father, man, that's where your heart really goes out. You know, those poor kids have to grow up without a father now. For what? For exercising his right to freedom of speech, which is something that's guaranteed to all of us. And fuck you if you think you can take it away just because you don't like it.
Yeah, you know, yeah. I mean, yeah, people disagree. I mean, and I think that's one thing that they said, you know, we said we didn't want to talk about, we ended up talking about it.
I know.
You know, one thing they say, you know, like Charlie Kirk was known for was, you know, if you disagree with me, come to the front of the line. Let's talk. You know, let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, and you've heard me say it before, and you can go back on the history, and I was thinking about it. You know, it's not, this isn't a negative comment. You know, he didn't speak to me. You know, he's a generation younger than me. Mm-hmm. So I listened a little bit during the campaign because I knew he had access. And I listened to a little bit after. But you know, it wasn't really my thing. Him and Posobiec, they're just, I tried. They just don't speak to me. But here's what I can tell you. I agree with 90% of what he says. You know, I just, you know, I have limited time in the day, right? You know, do I listen to him or do I, like, you know, I'll be honest, you know, you can make fun of me all you want, right? Do I listen to him? Do I listen to Steve Day, Glenn Beck, you know, all these other people, right, that come on at the same time? They're more my generation. I grew up listening to them. You know, I know, right. I can hear the hype in their voice. Like I know when they don't really, you know, they're not really behind that. You know mm-hmm. what I'm saying? I feel like, you know, I can kind of tell when even they're struggling to believe. And
sure.
So anyway, long story longer. I was a fan. I just, I didn't, you'll hear me in the past critique because I knew what he would say. He's very consistent. He's a very consistent person. He's
Right.
consistent in his beliefs, consistent in his message. There's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, it just didn't speak to me. So, but I mean, whenever somebody takes an arrow, for the First Amendment for all of us, I mean, they deserve recognition. I think one person was saying, they ought to be treated like a civil rights leader. I mean, they fought for truth. They fought for these things. I mean, there should be a Charlie Kirk Boulevard. You know what? I could get behind that.
I could too, because absolutely he was defending our rights and fighting for them by doing what he was doing. So I like you. I knew who he was. I've heard him a couple of times. I didn't really care one way or the other. You know what I mean? Again, if he's not your generation, he's definitely not my generation. So
Right.
yeah, exactly. But I just to see somebody assassinated for what we went to war to defend really fucking irks me. I don't have to agree with you, but I will support your right to say whatever you want and be a dumbass and look stupid, because that's your right. That many of us have fought for and many have died for. But you don't get to determine who lives or dies because of something they said you don't agree with.
Right. Exactly.
That's what got me the most upset over all this shit. And the amount of military members that are talking shit.
Really?
You swore a fucking oath, motherfuckers.
I don't know why they would be upset. Like, what would military
There's
people be upset about?
a lot of veterans, a lot of dude.
Those are people that don't
mine
listen
is-
to him. Those are people who just didn't listen to him. They just listened to what people said about him. I mean,
Even still,
yeah.
you don't have to agree with it, but you have the right to say it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you, as a veteran, how can you not get behind that when you swore an oath to defend that?
Well, here's what makes it really interesting to me on the whole like veteran side and free speech. But oh man, I lost my train of thought. I just saw something flash across my other monitor. I'm sorry.
Well, all right. Maybe it'll come back to you.
And then I know you took a drink because you thought I was going to go off on a diatribe, and you have plenty of time to swim.
I did.
The whole time, I was like, man, I lost my train of thought. Can I get it back before he takes a sip? And the answer was no. I better confess.
Well, I have some more sad news to announce. We're saying goodbye to a loved one of the family. Been in our family for 3 years, served us well, but she's got to go. We're getting rid of the Jeep.
Yeah.
Yep. She's got to go.
Man. I saw the picture. It looked good.
Yeah, it's wild. I know some of you out there are gonna make fun of me for this, but it's a 1500 Chevy Silverado with a 4-cylinder engine, a 2.7 liter turbo engine, which cranks out about 420 foot-pounds of torque, man, and 310 horsepower for a 4-cylinder, and it's got a towing capacity of 9,600 pounds.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Oh, it's amazing.
I'm toying with the idea of a dually for a truck camper.
I would recommend it.
Would?
I would.
I'm
Most
toying
definitely.
with the idea, man. The only issue I think of is like driving around the city in a dually. Like
You see them all the time.
you do, but it's like so big.
I'm telling you, that's definitely first thing is the first time you've ever heard that, but secondly, you'd get used to it.
I think so. I think the dual, like they say, you need the dually, man. Otherwise, you're just gonna have a lot of sway.
Yeah, and well, you've got more stability, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Not
they
just
say
with the
if
sway,
you're gonna
but
do a truck camper, you want a dually.
yeah, but did you? I think you missed what I said about
No.
first time you ever heard that.
Yes.
You did miss it.
No, I heard you say it.
Oh, you know what I was referring to.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Making sure. And Nova's the never mind.
I
Anyway,
know, it'll fit. but that's my thought though. Is the what I've read, you have to have a dually if you want to do a truck camper.
you,
Like if
you
you
don't
like if you
have
want
to.
right. They say you don't
Right.
have to, but they're like if you want the peace of mind of not feeling that
Yeah.
thing, making you shake,
Now,
or whatever.
I'll tell you this. They say the same thing about a fifth wheel. But I had a fifth wheel and I did not have a dually. I never had an issue, not once, ever. But
That's what I thought. If I got like a 3500, the truck camper should sit right on top of it. It shouldn't be a problem.
yeah, it shouldn't. I would still go if I was going to do it.
I'd still do a dually though. Just
I
for
would
the
do a
truck camper,
dually.
yeah. Just so the weight support's there.
Yeah,
Everything's there.
you'll have the heavier duty frame, so it'll definitely support more weight. Man, you got to do it.
I want to, but well, here's the thing. I don't know if I need a dually or not. What I read was, go find the camper you want, and then ask what the best truck is.
That's amazing advice.
So I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try it that way. I'm gonna go shopping for the camper I want, and then I'll figure out what the truck is.
That's the way to do it, man. Whoever said that's a very wise and experienced individual.
I think I read it in Camper World magazine.
Either way, man, that's
right.
Sage advice, dude. So the truck, man. It's funny because I really didn't want to get rid of the Jeep, but it was Connie's turn to get a car, and we went looking and stuff, and I was like, man, I don't know, the Jeep, it's getting up there. It's got almost 100,000 miles. I'm gonna need a clutch soon. Got to put new tires on it. I got to put brakes on it. Man, we should just trade it in. He says, well, what do we do? We'll only have one car. I said, well, I mean, suck it up, I guess. We'll figure it out. And then we're driving to the cabin. She's like, well, why don't we get a truck? I'm like, who are you and what did you do with Connie?
Yeah.
She's like, well, because we'll still have the car and the kids, we'll share the truck. The kids can drive themselves to school. But if we both need to be somewhere, then they can take the bus and, we'll have our separate cars still. But I'm like, holy shit. So we went like the minute we got back from the cabin because I wasn't going to let her go back on this one, man. I'm like, oh, hell no. Right now.
You got to strike while the iron's hot, man.
That's right. So I told her, I said, you know what? I'm so cool with this that I only have 3 requirements. 1, it's got to be 4-wheel drive. 2, it's got to have a towing package. And a purely geek, selfish thing, I had to have Apple CarPlay.
Yeah.
So I told her, that's all I care about. You do what you pick, the color, you pick whatever you want. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And so her big item she had to have was heated seats, heated steering wheel, and electric start.
There you go. I use my heated seats, but I don't think I've ever used the steering wheel.
Yeah. I didn't care. I just had to have those 3 things, and anything else I totally willing to compromise on.
That's right. Adaptive cruise control is an excellent feature. Jared, have you ever heard of oh shit, what's it called? Now, of course, I can't. Tether. Have you ever heard of the tether feature? You ever heard of tethering?
On a phone?
Some cars have a tether feature. Not only will it do cruise control, but it will do cruise control and keep a certain distance from the car in front of it.
Oh.
So as that car slows, you'll slow. As he speeds up, you'll speed up. You'll maintain that distance. So you not only do the cruise control, but you're also tethered to a rabbit.
Connie's car does that.
Yeah.
The pilot does that.
Yeah.
Hey, Juan.
What's up?
Orale.
But yeah, it's the tether feature. I thought was really cool.
No, I prefer my balls sweaty. I don't need cooled seats. But yeah, so people like so our friend Mike, Mike, well, he's retired. Mike Grumley, he's been on.
Yeah.
he makes fun of me for getting his four-cylinder truck, but whatever, we can't all be that cool. What?
Yeah.
What? Yeah, that's cool. I can't stand it though, man. I can't get used to it. The tethering, drives me insane. And then she's also on her car. She's got this, like if you kind of swerve out of the lane, it'll jerk the steering wheel. Man, I hate that shit too.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Especially in the construction areas. There's a lot of construction going on right now. And so it gets confused. There's like 2-3 lines, and it jerks the shit out of you. I feel like, never mind. I won't say that.
That was the problem with the autopilot and the Tesla is like, in Texas, road construction, like they don't give you a long leadway and all of a sudden the road would disappear. The cars were like crashing into the medians and shit.
Well, that's what you get for being lazy, I guess, huh?
Let
the car drive you.
Yeah, yeah. There's like monitors in the car or something. Like one guy was telling me, like, he's like, I don't know how to do it. He's like, I drive it and it like I try to use autopilot and it yells at me like because you have to like have your hands on the steering wheel or something. You have to be like looking. You can't do autopilot and start playing Uno. Right? Like you gotta, it drives, but you gotta like, and it like looks at where your eyes are looking. Like the car monitors you. And so he said he can't do it, but he said his wife's got it figured out, man. He said she does all kinds of like she's like you have to like look at a certain area and she'll be makeup and like all kinds of shit, man. God. But here's what's up. But what I think is interesting and what I think people don't realize is those cars are extremely expensive.
Yeah.
And not only are they extremely expensive for the car, but what they don't tell you is they run through tires like it's fucking crazy. Okay, they burn through tires like you wouldn't believe.
Really?
All right. Oh yeah, when you go to 0 to 60, man, that's not good on your tire. 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, that burns rubber, man. Well, like you don't have to skid to burn rubber, but it's the pressure of the grip.
Sure.
Right, that compresses, and I guess they go through tires like, and then you have to stop. Right, 0 to 60, and you got to stop. So, yeah, they go through tires like you wouldn't believe.
Wow.
And the freaking insurance. In some cases, your insurance goes up $300, right?
Oh,
because to insure that vehicle, right? Remember, if one thing goes wrong, the whole thing goes wrong.
Of course,
it's an electric car, right? So, I don't know if you knew this, but I got more mechanical knowledge in my Afghan deployment than I ever needed, right? Like if the Humvee, like if the air conditioning in the Humvee, it doesn't matter if the air conditioning is blowing cold air or hot air, as long as it's blowing. But if it ain't blowing, that truck is fucked. like that truck is fucked. Then that means the engine's not getting the correct air exchanges. That means nothing's happening correctly. If the air conditioning doesn't turn on and blow, even if it's hot, then that truck is not working, and you have to take it apart and fix it. And so that used to be the mechanic's big question. The mechanic's big question was, is the air conditioning working? And we'd say yes. And he'd say, okay, then.
To answer Airborne's question, no, I never thought I'd see cars that drive themselves, man.
Oh yeah, no. Oh, are you kidding me? Hey, let me tell you something, man. To expand on your question too, I talk on my watch all the time because I waited my whole life to do that.
like Dick Tracy, huh?
People are like, why do you talk on your watch? I'm like, I do it all the time. I waited my whole life for this, man. My phone goes in my backpack and I'm like this. Like people are on their phone, but I'm like this all day. My whole life is all about this, man. And I get pissed off. Like I buy like extra heavy readers because I have like I need a 2.0 to walk around, but I have 3.0s because I'm like, I need to be able to see what the fuck is on here.
That's funny.
But man, dude, I waited my whole life for that crap, so I use it, man. I use it. Yes, yes.
I saw the weirdest thing that I never thought I would see. That was a Tesla truck with a camper.
Oh,
in bed camper.
I saw so this. You've been in my neighborhood, Andy, and there's Teslas everywhere. There's everything everywhere. I just saw a Tesla with like a back, like a Trans Am, like the plastic ridged back, like it had like the plastic ridged back of a Trans. I was like, somebody put that on the. Okay, well, hey, man,
it's somebody with a sense of humor. It's got to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like true redneck at heart. Watch this.
These people do wild stuff, man. They have wild stuff around here, but they got money. So, hey.
Instead of hold my beer, Hold my scotch.
Yeah, right. So hold my spritzer,
Right.
my champagne.
But that was the weirdest thing, man. And it's just the truck's ugly enough as it is. That just it was an eyesore, man.
The Cybertrucks are all over here, man. They're pretty neat. Like I don't know if you've ever seen here's the thing, right? If it could do what I wanted it to do, I'd consider it, but it can't. So, right. Like we looked at the towing capacity, an impressive 11,000 pounds of towing for 1 hour.
Yeah.
1 hour. It burns out 1 hour. So I can't do that. But listen, the truck doesn't require an engine. So if you've never been in it, the entire cab converts to a bed.
No shit.
Yeah, you put the front seats down and they go straight back to the back seats. And that entire bubble, you could just like hang out in. Like you just hang out like a tent, man. It's like a tent.
I've never seen the inside of one.
You'd have to check it out, man. It's crazy.
Liam's friend's father owns one.
Yeah.
I'll hit him up, see if I can.
It's like called bed mode or something. Like, but you put the seats down and that whole inner compartment, is there for you.
That's wild.
Yeah. And then, you can lower and then open the window, right? Close the window, open the window. Like the bed has the window.
So
you could just shut it.
Connie made a comment the other day about what kind of crazy person came up with that design. And I said, I guarantee you.
They asked him.
Go ahead.
They asked Elon Musk why he did that. And he said, because, man, we're pushing a future vision. We want it to look futurish. He said, I know it's over the top. I know it is. But once you get used to seeing that, it'll be easier to bring the other design lines in. And he said, so they went over the top on purpose. So that you'll be more used to the subtler design lines as other models push out. But yeah, he's like, if you're driving the future, then you need to get people excited about seeing something that looks futuristic. He said, so I wanted it to look futuristic.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Speaking of futuristic and scientific, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Have you heard about this comet that they don't think is a comet that is making its way towards Earth?
Oh, yeah, I've heard about that. And also there's new video footage of a MX missile bouncing off a UFO.
I saw that footage.
Yeah. But again, I just go off on, I just, Dr. Greer, that other guy, and all these other people could end this all right now.
Oh, sure.
But they're like, no, I'm only going to talk in the skiff. I'm just going to keep it going.
Right.
So I have no respect for those people at all. I don't care. There are enough people in this world who will cover your legal costs. There are enough people in this world who will provide you security, good security. Just come clean, okay? Enough with this skiff shit.
Listen.
Just tell us what you know. Tell it all. All of it. Name names. And we will protect them, and we will look out for them. Okay? Just do it. Just do it already. Stop stringing. You're no better than the people in government who are lying to us. You're doing the same thing.
That's right.
You're doing the same exact thing.
I'm not saying I believe in aliens. What I'm saying is I want it to be true. It'd be cool. I'm not saying I believe it.
Here's what I think, man. I think it's fun to think about, but you should not be living your life according to that.
Oh, I agree.
There is no, I go back to Ray Kurzweil, right? And I'm a believer, man. I don't believe we're alone, right? I follow the Orson Welles way of thinking, right? If we are alone, what a terrible waste of space. Like if it is just us, oh my God, right? Look at all this shit up there. So, so I don't think we're alone. But, like Ray Kurzweil said, and I've said thousands of times on the show, right? Kurzweil has said, look, we may be at the pinnacle, man. It might be other life waiting for us. Like we might be the ones, because we see no evidence of galaxy engineering. We don't see any satellites looking at us. The satellite farm has been open for 50 years. He said it hasn't returned a single thing. He said, in fact, they're shutting it down this year because it costs $3 million a month to run.
Good Lord.
He said it hasn't returned a single thing. It hasn't returned nothing. Nothing is communicated with it. He said it's nothing. It's been broadcasting that message for 50 years, and it's gotten nothing. He said nothing we send into space returns anything. He said, we're not seeing anything. He said, so we're engineering the galaxy, like we're pushing satellites out, we're putting rovers on planets, we're doing all that stuff. Why wouldn't anyone else? Right? I mean, like, why wouldn't anyone else? So the counter theory is that what we're not seeing is alien life. It's more dimensional things.
Yes.
Right? Now, here's what's crazy. I just completed one of the, I subscribe to the great courses, right? When I say I completed, I mean, I just let them play in the background. I mean, for all you know, there could be one playing right now. And I am the kind of guy that would play it right now just to be 3 chapters in by the time I was done, right? So, here's what I realized. I'll share this with you. I realized whether I physically read the book or I listen to the book, I retain probably only about 35 to 40% of what I'm reading. The rest of it, I don't retain. I just don't. Okay. I don't know if that's high. I don't know if that's low. I feel like it's low, but I accepted it. And so I make up for that by volume. So I consume in volume, right? So I have things playing in the background all the time, and so that's what I do. I make up in volume. And so somebody was telling me the other day that I seemed like, I was a smart person. And what I was trying to tell them was, and this is what I believe, right? And I'm it's a sad dog that doesn't wag its own tail, but I'm not going to wag my tail. I'm just to say, I remember the things I'm interested in.
Yeah.
And I just seem, just like everyone else, right? Everyone else remembers the stuff that they're interested in. I just seem to be interested in things that don't interest a lot of people around me. So,
Right.
so it looks like I'm smarter than them. No, I was just interested in it, right? Like I spent a long time memorizing the distance from the sun to the earth and the moon to the earth and how fast those travel around each other just so I could quote them to people. Okay. I didn't do it because I was smart. I didn't do it because I wanted to practically apply the knowledge. I did it so I could tell people, so I could avoid answering questions. Right? So I could say, well, look, man, the sun's 93 million miles away from the earth and the moon's about 248 million. You have to check, right? But I think it travels about 244 million miles around and the sun moves around here and we all go about 286. But look, I'm just trying not to fall off, man. Okay.
Right.
So I don't know what you're talking about. I just don't want to fall off.
So overwhelm them with bullshit's what you're saying.
But it's not. Those numbers are true.
The numbers are true, but the rest of it was a bunch of bullshit.
Well, right. I just didn't feel like answering their question, right?
Right.
So what I'm saying is like, people are like, man, you're so smart. Like, no, I remember what I'm interested in and I just get interested in things. And then I make up for my lack of ability to retain by volume.
Yeah.
Right. So
No,
that's
that
what
makes a lot of sense, man.
That's what I do. I'm just saying that's what I do, right? That's how I do it. If you're wondering how I do what I do or how I am what I am, that's how I do it.
So, Airborne, what if the aliens are fallen angels God cast out?
Oh.
They were here all along.
I was going to say, I hear what you're saying.
I think that's a plausible theory.
So Guy was saying, so going back to the great courses, I did How We Know What We Know, right? Where they talked about physics and how they figured out atoms, how they figured out electrons, how they figured out protons. The guy started out with, have you ever seen an atom? And he's like, if you said no, well, yeah, you're just like every other scientist on the earth. No one's seen an atom. It's smaller than microscopic. So no one's seen an atom. That's all modeling. Like we assume the electron goes like this. And then they explain the experiments they did to figure this out and how these things were figured out and how one thing led to another thing, which led to another thing. But they went through how we know everything we know today. And they were talking about how they've discovered 7 dimensions. We're in the 3rd.
That, if 20 years ago, even 20 years ago, if you'd have said that, man, people would have been like, no, you're crazy.
He said, you're a god in the 2nd dimension. You create 2-dimensional things all the time. Every time you write, every time you do, you're creating 2-dimensional things all the time. He's like, they don't move. They don't do anything. He's like, they're not alive. At least as far as we think. He's like, but with quantum physics, everything breaks down to protons.
Yes.
So you're a god in the 2nd dimension, is what he was saying, right? He's like, so what do you think the 4th is doing, or the 5th, or even the 7th?
Right.
He's like, what if there's 14? So aliens versus interdimensional beings? I don't know, man. I don't know. I honestly don't. That is an interesting concept that I would have to look at more. I do believe there is life out there. I think we're finding evidence all the time, evidence of water, evidence of things. Somebody gave Terrence, what's his name's theory a thought.
Oh yeah, yeah.
All the stuff he said was like crazy, right? But one of the guys was saying, that is very interesting. Your point that every planet at some point is going to have its opportunity in the sweet zone. Right. And that the more advanced civilizations are the planets furthest from the sun, right? Because they would have expanded first. So Pluto would have been in the sweet zone before us. And it would have had its time in. And as it expanded, it would have gotten away from the sun as this one came in. And then life would have started over here like it did here. But you have a little bit of different makeup, right? And so his theory was, as the universe exploded and started to, spiral outward, every planet has its time in the sun, and this is ours. And we have a fixed amount of time to figure out how to get off of it and get over to the other one. And if we can get off of it and over to there, we'll be fine.
That's crazy thinking, man.
As they move, right? We got a long time. We have a long time to figure that out. But
hopefully,
well, no, you do have a,
unless there's some other kind of catastrophic event that happens.
Yeah, but those catastrophic events don't usually like wipe everything out. You
No,
know what I mean?
And I'm good, man. I had a good run. Fuck it. It's my time. It's my time. Whatever. But
I'm not. I tell everybody, man, no, even if I'm an eyeball, you put me in fucking liquid and you put the television on and I'll blink if I don't like it.
I agree, though.
You fucking spend your whole life caring for me until you die, and then you assign others to care for me until they die.
That's right.
You stand the watch.
If something were to happen to me and the technology was there, I would just want my ass to be left so I could just shit on them constantly.
There you go.
But go ahead.
I hear you. No, I was just gonna say, man, I'm good, man. I'm okay, man. I don't have to run around to feel alive. I just need the TV.
Right. Airborne mentioned the oceans, man. I agree with that. There's so much about the oceans that we just don't know.
So funny you say that. I started going back and watching Sequest. With Roy Scheider.
Was this
from
one
Blue
of the
Thunder?
Was this one of the great courses?
No. You never heard of Sequest?
I have. That's why I'm laughing.
Yeah. Sequest DSV. I love that show. It's good. I'm watching it again, and I'm like, oh, I'm looking at the kid. I'm like, oh, you're so fucked up in the head. You're gonna kill yourself in about 3 years. You're gonna hang yourself. Look at you smiling. You're about to go fucking tits up.
Oh shit, that's funny.
Right? And then you're looking at Roy Scheider, and I'm looking at Roy Scheider, and I'm like, you're gonna fuck this up and bring your wife on in 1 year. You are gonna fuck all of this up. You're gonna bring your wife on the cast. She's gonna cause division, and this whole show is gonna fall apart in 1 year. You're gonna piss this away.
Sounds familiar.
Oh man, it's a great. I like the show though. I do like it. And it's so cool. Andy, I really think I was watching it, and you know what I immediately thought? You could do this again. You could do this just like this again. Because A, we still don't know shit about the ocean.
Yep. B,
the graphics are better. True. And C, every episode ended in an aquarium with a lesson. Right? They had usually an expert on who would talk a little bit about the ocean at the end of every episode. And I was like, you could totally do this again.
Yeah, I think you could.
Oh my God.
Because it wasn't that popular when it first came out. It was kind of one of those, how do you call it? I don't want to say underground, but it was almost like a cult.
Well, it was Star Trek underwater.
Yeah.
People were like, well, I already have Star Trek.
Right.
Well, you're just copying Star Trek. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Basically.
Yeah, it doesn't have.
Either way, it's the same concept.
I thought so.
Either out of space, underwater that we don't know about,
Yeah, I thought Sequest was cool, man. I mean, now look, it's you go back now. I see Jared. You talking about looking it up and checking it out. I encourage you to. I enjoyed it. I think it holds up. Just know that was a '90s look at what futuristic technology would be, right? So there's a lot of like steel piping.
Yeah. So lower your expectations.
It's like when you look at the original Star Trek and you're like, really? In like the fucking 30th like millennia, we're gonna be still fucking turning cranks and like, is that really what's happening?
Right.
Like that ship looked like it cost fucking $10.99 at Radio Shack, man. Like it's like they're like it's dude, it's fucking like it's supposed to be like 50-29 and you're still flipping switches to the on position. Like this is a switch. Like, oh, okay. Got to connect circuits. Like you got Scotty down there. I'm giving it all Chicago Compton. He's turning like levers and shit like that.
I guess you never know, man. We kept some of them old boiler ships around for a long time.
I go back. It's fun. I have all these wild conversations. But a month ago, I was just talking about the Blue Ridge with somebody, and I was like, man, we keep ships alive for long that don't. But dude, in the Blue Ridge, I remember the guy telling me. He was like, oh, man, we're going to be here for a while. I said, why? I said, the Japanese got to make the part. He said, the company that made these boilers, man, they went out of business 20 years ago.
That's right.
Said in 1998, they went out. I was stationed there in 95 to 99. He said in 98, they went out of business. He goes, so every part we have, there's no one that makes it. The Japanese have to look at it, imagine what it looked like before it broke. If we photographed everything. He goes, but if they don't have the angle on what we're looking at, he goes, and then they just fabricate it. They have a guy who makes it. He's like, so every part to fix this ship costs like quadruple what it would because it's all handmade.
Yep.
He's like, and we do it because, history, right?
I guess.
Whatever, man.
That's an old ass ship. That's all I know.
Yeah. Oh man, it's trash, man. It should be gone by now. I think it's razor blades. I don't know. I'd have somebody have to look that up. The USS Blue Ridge, but I mean, it should be razor blades.
We'll get our producer on that.
I remember I remember D's telling me like, you get a ship staff and you be on the ship and then you get the admiral staff.
Yeah. A lot of resentment between the two.
They hate the admiral staff because they don't do anything. They don't stand watch. They don't help.
Well, of course, that's the perception. They have their own watches to stand. So but then nobody wants to hear that shit.
Yeah, no, you're right, man. When you're in the shit, I don't want to hear about your shit. I'm talking about mine.
That's right. That's right. Sailors will be sailors, man.
So my son called me last weekend and says to me, hey, Dad, I'm a sailor.
Oh.
So you serious? He said, yeah. He said, I passed battle stations and now we're just waiting for graduation on Thursday. I said, no way. He said, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I said, well, good for you. I said, congratulations. That's something you did. Nobody else did that. You did that.
Absolutely.
I said, now on your when you graduate on Thursday and you go to the hotel with your mom and you buy her room, I said, have your beer and don't fuck it up.
That's right.
And I said, and then when you get on the plane and you go to A school, get yourself a 12-pack, go sit on the smoke deck and watch all the people get kicked out. First, watch them all get kicked out. I said, and not only the first weekend, guys, but you're going to see people that have been there for a while that just for whatever reason made a bad decision that night. And just watch how it goes down. Just watch how it goes down. And you will see how they deal with you. Watch what happens to them. And you'll see exactly how you're going to be dealt with, man. When you're a student, you're not a person.
No.
You're still, you're still, and he even got that. He was like, he's like, my cat card doesn't work. And what they won't fix it. They tell me just get it fixed when you get to your next duty station. So, yeah.
It's already started.
I say, you know what they're going to tell you at school? Just look, you're only here for school. Get it fixed when you get to you don't need it for school. I said, or you know what's going to happen? I said, you know what's going to happen? I said, listen, don't do anything I tell you, right? Because I was in for 20 years. You're new. They'll kill you. Don't do that, right? I said, but you know what would happen? The guy's going to scan your ID card and be like, what the hell?
Right.
I said, you know what I would say to him? Oh, man, you got to send me back to Great Lakes, I guess. I guess I got to go back. Call them. Call the quarterdeck. Tell them you're sending me back. Put me on a plane. I said, sometimes the worst thing you can do to people is what they told you to do. Give them exactly what they want.
Yeah.
Like, I can't let you on base. So I guess you got to send me back, right? I mean, I'm obviously a sailor. I'm obviously.
Right.
Right?
I still have my orders.
Send me back, I guess. I don't know. They're going to be pissed.
Oh, man.
But I was telling them, I said, just sit back, watch the smoke deck. Watch the smoke deck and see what happens, my friend. See what happens. They're going to get kicked out. They're going to get kicked out quickly.
Now, what rate did he choose?
He is an aviation electronic mechanic. Aviation electronics.
Okay. Well, now, where's he going for school?
Pensacola.
That's what I thought. I was going to say either Pensacola or Mississippi.
Yeah, I said, hey, have fun down there, man. When you get down there, just get a 12-pack, sit back, and learn how the Navy works. That
When's
first
he
weekend,
gonna When's he gonna be there?
2 weeks.
Want me to look him up?
You can.
I
Are
gotta
you gonna be
go.
down there?
Yeah, I'm going. I'm going to be the MC for my buddy's retirement ceremony, so I
Oh
will be
shit! I'll
down
tell you where he's
there.
at. If he's down there, yeah, I'll tell you. He needs to learn the
17th.
Chief's arm reaches around the world.
Yeah, 17th, 18th, and 19th. I'll be down there.
September.
October.
Oh yeah, he'll be there by then. Oh yeah, so because he graduates the 18th of September, and then I think he flies down the 20th.
I'll go look him up.
But because his CAT card doesn't work, he can't see his orders or his flight.
Oh
And,
no!
and they won't tell him.
Oh, that's fucked up. It's so typical, hilarious, but fucked up. Oh, let's see. Airborne says his boot camp pick was so bad that he got to A school, scratched the chip, and said I couldn't get it to work in my day.
Yeah, right. Hey, let me tell you, man. So before the CAT card came out, remember they had the other sideways one?
Oh yeah.
And the side, that was how you're supposed to get that was how you paid for meals. Like you'd put that in the reader and it would auto debit for your meals.
Mm.
And I remember, so you had 2 cards you had to carry around. You had to carry around that, and it still wasn't like set. And I just remember the IT lieutenant looking at me going, someone's gonna hack the chip and like give themselves $1,000 of TAD funding. he goes, it's exposed. All you have to do is make the connections. He's like, I mean, I don't know any of this. He's like, an exposed chip. This is the worst idea they've ever had. Someone's gonna hack that chip and give themselves like unlimited TAD funding. You'll see.
Why didn't I think of that?
I'm sure people did. I'm sure.
But why didn't I think of that?
I remember I was in Marsoc and I had an unrestricted credit card.
Oh shit!
I got to Yakuza. Not Yakuza. Where'd I get? I got to after I left Marsoc, I went to Boston. I went to so I had to check in at I checked in at the command right there at the Constitution, and I just remember the first class going, your card's unrestricted. I was like, yeah. It can't be like that. I was like, okay. He's like, how'd you get an unrestricted card? I was like, I don't know. I don't know.
So the funny thing about that is, I'm sure you probably really didn't know.
I knew they gave us unrestricted cards, but I don't know. I mean, I know why I have it.
Right. But,
but he's talking to me like I did something bad. No, I didn't do anything bad. It was given to me like that. But when people don't see that, they think the unit's making mistakes.
Right. Or conversely, he knew why, and he's like, "Oh fuck," you know what I mean?
I don't think so. I think he's what I think was he thought he was going to be a hero here. I think he found a command doing giving unrestricted cards out. Like I'm going to fuck this command over. Like I'm going to save the Navy money, man. This command's doing it wrong.
I'm going to get my 17th NAM.
Yeah, right. Like they can't be handing out unrestricted cards. So that's why when he was like, "Who gave it to you?" I don't remember.
That's right.
Well, it can't be unrestricted. Okay,
fix it.
Yeah. Like go crazy, man. Go nuts, man. Push all the buttons. This was. I've told Andy the story 1,000 times. I told you guys, right? Because I was just telling it again, so it's kind of fresh in my head. So I left the Marines and I got back to Blue Side Command, and we had our first formation on a Friday. My office was at the top floor of the building, the USS Constitution at the back. So I would walk by all their barracks rooms to get to work. The guy before me would come in whenever work started. I got there early. I go in at 5:30, man. I'm not trying to sit around in traffic. I want to drive in. I learned a long time ago, I'd rather sit in the parking lot than in traffic.
Hell yeah.
And then I had my own office, so I could chill up there. So I was like, I'll come in early, go chill up there. So I would come in early. And over the years, I saw them all do the walk of shame coming in. And I would just be like, I don't give a shit. They knew I didn't care. And I wouldn't spread any rumors. I kept everything quiet. But I would see them all do the walk of shame. Guys and girls. Getting the boot. But anyway, I got there on a Monday to check in. Drove there on a Monday from North Carolina to check in. Got there. There was a condom jar outside the office, and it was full. By Friday, it was like empty. So I go out there to formation on Friday, and they're like, "Hey, let's introduce the new first class. Just came to us from the Marines. H1 Del Pre. Do you have anything to say?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Hey, I'm happy to be here." And then I finished with, "Oh, and hey, Those condoms outside the office are for people who actually fuck. So do what every other red-blooded American does and shoot your shit in a sock and put them back. And so, and then I just went right back to like on purpose. I just stopped right there, like saying it. Shoot your shit in your sock like every other red-blooded American and put the fucking condoms back. And I went right back to formation. Like I just left it at that. I didn't turn to the senior chief and say, is that okay or anything? I just, right. I did that for effect. And so the senior chief is like, Jesus Christ, Doc, we don't talk like that anymore. He's like, holy shit. Everybody's dying laughing. We leave, right? The funniest fucking thing. I come back Monday. The condom jar is half full again. and the striker tells me one of them is from his roommate because he's been harassing his roommate for months about how he's had the same condom in his wallet. And he needed to put it back because it's probably like dusty.
Damn.
But
wow.
It was just so funny, man. Like going from, you know, a Marine, like 10 years of Marines to, you know, the USS Constitution and having those kids, they just.
Dude, I know. Cause I did the same thing, right? 14 years in the Marine Corps. And then I went to a submarine.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, you got similar humor there. I heard.
What's that?
I hear this relatively similar humor.
There is, but, they just think they're a lot fucking harder than what they are.
I can believe
that. First, and of course, I was a chief when I went to my first boat. I had one warfare. I was, you know, FMF, had that. So they treat you like, well, a nub, non-useful body. When you get to the boat, you're a nub until you get qualified, right? And they treat you like shit. And so they thought that just because I was never been to a submarine before, that they were going to get away with that. No, sir. I don't think so.
Yeah.
First week, man, I feel a tap on my shoulder, and I look. It's one of the fucking A-gangers. He's got his pecker on my shoulder, right? So, oh, that's cute, man. That's real cute. In fact, it's so cute, we need to show people. So I grabbed that motherfucker. I took a tour of the boat. Nice. This motherfucker was in tears, man. Just come on, Doc. Just let go. Just let go. Just let go. Come on. I went up to Skipper's stateroom. I said, Skipper, you ever seen anything like this before? And he's like, God damn it, Doc. What the fuck? You know, went up and down ladders. This dude was crying. But nobody fucked with me from then on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody.
I always would tell people they make you be a certain way, you know, that you don't want to be.
Right.
But if you don't, you're gonna end up being worse, like for longer. Like if you don't do something immediate,
mm-hmm.
You know, if you don't go over the top rope immediately, you know, and that's why you get out and civilians are like, man, that escalated quickly, and you're like, well,
right.
You know, you got to come over the top rope, man. I'm trying to cut this in the bud, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I remember somebody telling me, and he got out of the Navy early. He didn't do 20 like us, but he did sort of submariner, did 2 tours and got out. And I remember him telling me, you know, you're threatening, man. You're threatening those women. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, that is all threatening to those women, man. He said, this is not the military, man. This corporate culture does not tolerate that. You're threatening those women. You drove across the city to go to the pharmacy on a guy who hung up on you. That is a threat. Okay. That's threatening. All right. All right. You told that story laughing. Okay. The whole time you're telling that story, they're thinking, holy shit, this guy drove across the city because someone hung up on him. What if we have an argument? He's like, you're threatening these women, man. He said, here's the thing you have to understand. The women will threaten you all day.
Right.
All fucking day.
Yep.
But once you threaten them, you're done, man. You're done. He's like, you shouldn't be surprised they push you out. And I thought about all the things I was doing, and I was like, oh yeah, man, I bet they must think I'm fucking wild. Like they must think like that guy, they must think they dodged a shooter.
Maybe.
I mean, I'm dead serious.
Yeah.
I thought about that. I was like, oh wow. I was very aggressive towards them because you know, in a manner that I did not think was aggressive. You know, like if you would have asked me, you know, at the time, I would have been like, what are you talking about, man? Right. I'm dialing it down.
Right.
Like, dude, hang up on me. I'll be sitting on the roof of his car. Hey, I've been waiting for you, pal. Where you been? We got disconnected. I just wanted to make sure we don't get disconnected again. So I sat by your car and had lunch. You know what I mean?
And dinner.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, like hand you pictures of the inside of your house, that I hand drew, like, I mean, but I'm just saying, like, like these things, like, I toned it down,
I can relate because of the incident I had with the baseball team that I told you about last week. That I absolutely you got to set boundaries right away. Nope, we're not playing that bullshit. So, but anyway, it worked out.
I think so. Hey, you got something you ain't buying today?
Can I make a confession?
No.
Okay. All right.
No, you can't.
Moving right along. That bears. So I feel like I'm failing these kids, man. Feel like I'm failing them. We lost our third game. But the caveat to that is that each game, and I hate this sounds so cliche, but it's the truth, man. They're getting better each game.
Yeah, you're in a rebuilding year.
Yeah. And each game that we've lost has been by 3 points or less.
So it's not these aren't show losses.
No.
And Andy and I have been playing ranked games on the show. We got mercy last.
But
Continue.
Last season it was almost all of them.
I think your kids are getting. I think you're doing good, man. I don't think they care.
So, and then I'm calling them the comeback kids, right? So 2 games in a row now they've been down by 4 or more runs, and they've come back to either tie or get ahead. Last night we came back and we tied them up, and then time expired. Well, I'm sorry. Time should have expired, but the idiot umpires that we had played 20 minutes more. I was livid, which let the other team score and win. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But I'm just saying they're doing really good, man. Practices are effective, I think. Versus what they did last year, all that crap. So I just want them to get a win, man. I think if they get one win, that will be like the catalyst, because they all have the potential. Well, most of them. Anyway, we won't talk about that. So yeah, I feel like I'm failing them, man. But I just want them to get better. That's all.
I think it's good, man. I think you're good. It's after 9, my friend. What are we doing?
It is indeed. We're going to wrap it up. We're going unorthodox tonight because I don't have anything.
It's all good, my friend.
I got nothing.
It's good to be back on. We'll see y'all again next week.
Absolutely.
Comment, quick like down below. Make sure you 5-star us.
That's right.
Review counts. Again, we do read your mail. We don't respond to them all, but we do read them.
We don't respond to hardly any. But anyway, hey, thanks for tuning in once again, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
You're listening to Nothing's Off the Table with Andy and Lou and Admiral